everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be discussing about God's prophetic calendar, and we will be talking about why as a child of God you need to operate inside God's prophetic calendar. It is important because you'll be able to know what God is doing in that prophetic season. So, what is actually God's prophetic timepiece? Israel is God's prophetic timepiece. There's a few reasons why we are saying Israel is God's prophetic timepiece. First of all, we find that Israel has the foundation stone. The foundation stone is believed to be the place when God was creating the world. The first land appeared in Jerusalem. It is also believed in Jewish tradition that it is the place where Abraham was to sacrifice his son Isaac. And further to that, it is also believed, according to the Jewish tradition, that it is the place where God gathered the dust to create Adam. So, putting all these things together, you'll find that Israel is very key in God's prophetic calendar. And not to mention that Jesus was born in Jerusalem and he's going to come back to Jerusalem. If you look at the Middle East conflict now, it is because people are fighting over the land of Israel because it is the most sought after land in the whole world. The Bible actually says, I will bless those that bless you and curse those that curse you. So most people say that the one who controls Israel in the last days will rule the world. So that is why there's a lot of fight or conflict over the land of Israel. Another item we can discuss is that Israel is the epicenter of prophecy. Why do we say that? We find that most prophetic books, when they are talking about the visions that Daniel was seeing, or Ezekiel was seeing, or even Revelations, it is to do with Israel. I'll give one example today of the fig tree generation that Jesus talked about in Mathew 24 from verse 32. He actually said, this generation shall not pass away until all these things are fulfilled. And these things that Jesus was talking about, he was talking about rapture, the tribulation, the abomination of desolation, talked about in 70 weeks of Daniel's prophecy. So the fig tree generation is a generation that will still be there when Jesus will return. And let's look at what is a generation according to the Bible. And if we read Psalms 90 verse 10, a generation is talked about in this scripture that it is a period of 70 to 80 years. So if you do your calculations, the nation of Israel was born in 1948. Before then, it was called Palestine. So Israel as a nation in our days was born in 1948. So if you do your calculations, 2020 minus 1948, you find that Israel as a generation has already clocked 70 years and going towards 80 years. So if Jesus said, this fig tree generation shall not pass away, he was talking about the generation that is alive now in Israel, that is awaiting for the soon coming Messiah. One may ask, why do we refer the fig tree generation to Israel? It is because in the Bible, when Jesus was communicating something about Israel, he was referring it to the fig tree. Many scriptures in the Bible that supports this idea that wherever Jesus was talking about the fig tree, he was talking about Jerusalem. There's a scripture that talks about the fig tree that was barren, it was cursed, and then it was replanted. As we speak now, Israel has been replanted, and the Jewish people have been migrating from all over the world back into the land of Israel. So that is why we are saying Israel is God's prophetic timepiece. And if you want to know where in God's calendar we are, look no further than what is happening in Israel. According to end-time eschatology, we find that there is a few signs that have already taken place, or a few prophecies that have already been fulfilled. For instance, we have Ezekiel 47 verses 8 and 9 that talks about the Dead Sea coming back to life. 2 to 3 years ago, this prophecy has been fulfilled, because if you look at what has happened in Israel, the sinkholes that are around the Dead Sea, they are already coming back to life. They are filled with fresh water and fish. So this prophecy is already taking place as we speak. And we also find another prophecy is Ezekiel 41 to 45 that talks about the third temple being rebuilt. And as we speak now, the priests are already going under the training in Israel to offer their services in the third temple. Not to mention the stone altar dedication that has already taken place. This is where the sacrifices will be made. And also we find that in 2018, a red heifer, which is a sacrificial cow that was used in the Old Testament, in the book of Numbers, was born in Israel. So already this cow is being prepared to be sacrificed in the third temple. So these are some of the signs that I thought I should mention today, so that we actually know where we are on God's prophetic calendar. So I would like to encourage you to subscribe and share this with your family and friends. I'd like to thank you for staying up until the end of the broadcast. God bless you. Shalom.